Hi, I'm Cheryl Head. I'm here in Washington, D.C. I'm going to read to you for you today from my new book that'll be out early next year. It's called Time's Undoing. You are among the first people to see this cover. It's not been released to the public yet. This is a story that is historical fiction and also crime fiction and a personal story as well because it's based on an actual incident from my family. It's written in dual timelines, 1929, about the murder of a black man by Birmingham, Alabama police, and 2019, where a young journalist, the man's great granddaughter, is trying to solve his unsolved murder. I'm going to read two quick excerpts from the prologue at the very beginning of the book and from chapter 2, so you get a sense of both timelines. So here we go. Prologue, 1929. 4 hours till dawn. The single street lamp at the alleyway splays veiled illumination on the wet cobblestone. The rumble and squeak of streetcars ended 2 hours ago, and the in a hurry owner of the diner hauls out the last of the garbage, which tumbles onto the slick red bricks as he slams the door. Cress lifts the collar of his tight fitting jacket against curly brown hair, alert, smoking, shifting from one leg to the other, leaning into the shadows every time he hears loud voices from the street. I can't feel the rain nor smell it, but I sense its fragrance mixed with the relentless forsythia creeping through every patch of dirt. Anna Kate often remarked that the flowers are her favorite part of living in Birmingham. The car engine's hum grows louder. Crest melts into the darkness when the blue sedan eases forward and idles under the lamp. The sight of it passes a shiver my body doesn't register. Crest steps forward and drops his smoke, grinding the butt under his boot. He shoves both hands deep into the pockets of his dungarees. The broad shouldered detective gets out of the car, moves to the front bumper, and stops, his hat cocked back. He stares at Cress in the alley, then swivels his head to take in his surroundings. He nonchalantly swipes a hand down the breast of his coat. That's where he keeps his revolver. Cress waits, no longer fidgeting, squaring his body. He lifts his hands from his pockets and leaves them dangling at his thighs. Finally, the big man walks toward him. You been asking for me, boy? Yeah, I owe you money. I got it here. Cress slides a hand into his jacket. The man tenses. Cress extends a palm. Do these two know each other? The detective closes the gap between them. He's at least 4 inches taller, but when he draws close, Cress grabs his coat sleeve, yanking the big man forward. The guy slips but doesn't fall, so Cress hits him in the face with his fist 3 times like a sledgehammer on a slab of concrete. The man sinks fumbling for his inside pocket. Cress thrashes him again and again while the struggling detective claws at his assailant's legs and arms, trying to right himself. Cress slides and pivots like a welterweight, but his opponent's size and strength gives him an advantage, and Cress loses his footing. Now they're kneeling, face to face on the wet pavement. The big man snatches Cress by the hair, but he's not expecting the headbutt nor the punch to his solar plexus. For a split second, the fight pauses. The two stare at each other with gaping mouths and teeth bared. When the detective grabs at his coat, I think he's after the gun, but his hand comes away covered in blood. He's been knifed. Cress thrusts the blade 2 more times until the man slumps over. This man-to-man battle has been quiet, neither letting out more than a grunt. Cress lifts to his feet, rubbing at his scalp. Looking around, he stares at the body, then aims his boot for a rib-shattering kick. That's for my sister, he says, then leans over to wipe the knife on the man's overcoat. Cress turns away, hurrying towards the opposite end of the alley. The glow of a match spirals and extinguishes in a puddle. The detective lays unmoving on the alley's surface, his left arm stretching to escape, his legs mixing with spilled garbage and soggy cardboard boxes. Chapter 2, 2019. It's my fifth funeral in 6 months, and I'm trying not to succumb to the despair I feel. Another black man, this time in his early 30s. He'd been returning to his university teaching position after an impromptu lunch downtown with his fiancee. walking fast because he was late for class and texting the department secretary. He was unaware a patrol car had pulled to the sidewalk behind him. When the siren blared, Philip Carter turned to look but kept walking. From there, things escalated. He dropped his backpack as ordered, but refused to lean spread eagle against the parking lot fence. A second officer approached with his gun drawn. Carter lifted his lanyard around his neck, displaying his Wayne State University faculty ID. "I'm a professor," he pleaded. "I'm on my way to teach a class." The first cop responded with, "What's in the bag?" Carter crouched to retrieve the bundle of graded papers in his backpack. That's when both policemen fired their weapons. Those are the details. I'm here against the back wall of the church to find something beyond the facts, to engage our newspaper readers in the human elements of the story. The viewing of the body is still underway. I watch the somber crowd and make notes. I spot Carter's fiancee in the first row, flanked by her parents. I've seen her on the local news, grieving, poised, demanding justice. The shooting has prompted a half dozen protests in Detroit, along with campus demonstrations in Ann Arbor and East Lansing. The firing of both officers by the chief of police hasn't appeased anybody. I've briefly locked eyes a couple of times with an old black man standing on the other side of the church. He's dressed a bit too stylish for a funeral in an out of date suit with a polka dot bow tie. He's coming my way. "You're a reporter?" he asks. "For the Detroit Free Press." "Nice to meet you." He offers a handshake. Now that he's closer, I notice a piece of stained wood hanging from a leather thread around his neck. It's a small whistle. "Yes, sir. Same here," I reply, grasping his hand. He stares at the casket in the front of the sanctuary. "Why do they keep killing us?" "I don't know. We're running out of time to make things right. They can put men into space, but they won't make space for black men." It's a great quote, and I flip to a clean page in my notebook to jot it down. Before I can ask the man his full name, he moves away to wait in the viewing line. After the funeral service, I search for him, but he's gone. Thank you. This book will be available early 2023. Meanwhile, I hope you will support the Saints and Sinners Literary Festival. It's such a great organization, and they do such a great job of welcoming our community to New Orleans, and I can't wait to see you all next year. Thanks.